What's up guys, it's Lord Both here for another video, and the new Superman trailer has released. I've already seen it. This reaction video isn't really going to be a live reaction, shall we say, but more of a breakdown. I do have some things I noticed, some comments I'd like to make as we go through it. So we're going to go through it and I'll give you my general feeling about the trailer and the direction of the movie at the end.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah,
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
sure.
Alright, first one little comment there. Probably should have done that line one more time. There's this thing where, as guys, sometimes we just say our responses really quick and we come out a little squeaky. Then we typically try to say the same thing again with a little bit more bass to our voice. And that was one of those situations where he came out a little squeaky in that line. Probably should have done it at least one more time. This isn't the one they should have stuck with.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Alright, I know it's another quick pause, but Walter Cronkite, really, how many people alive today that are probably going to go see a Superman movie remember Walter Cronkite and grew up with Walter Cronkite telling them the news? It's just something that I get that they're journalists and that's a thing in their world. Walter Cronkite is a legend to them. Who's really gonna know who Walter Cronkite is? It's a lame joke. It's not gonna go over well.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for
I don't
what
know if
some
it's a
might.
lot of fire,
It's
but-
a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions.
That's Frank Grillo playing Rick Flag Sr. because apparently Suicide Squad that James Gunn did, that's still canon to this universe, even though the rest of the DCU is not canon to this universe. And he's playing Rick Flag's father, Rick Flag Sr. And apparently he's Secretary of Defense here. I didn't know he was going to be that, but who knows?
That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
Now, there's a couple things here. The first is I've heard other people remark about, oh, why is she talking down to him? She's in journalist mode, okay? She's asking him questions. It's almost like a cross-examination. She's trying to, push his buttons a little bit to get a response, to get raw reactions, get raw answers. That's kind of what journalists do. I mean, we've seen it time and time again in real life. Second, we've heard this kind of spiel before in things like the Justice League, Batman going on about the morality of actions, going into other countries, doing certain things, representing the Justice League, and etc. So this is a through line from the comics that's existed before. Also, what you're seeing before you hear Superman getting slammed to the concrete looks like the main villain for him, the one who actually gives him the most trouble, the one who pummels him to a pulp, because I know a lot of people were asking the question, how is Superman so messed up in these battles? Well, apparently it looks like Ultraman is in this movie, which is supposed to be a clone of Superman in the comics, and he's sort of the masked devil in this movie that's doing all this, and he works for Lex Luthor, so yeah.
Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States
representing
will cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world.
And doing good.
Saving people,
I would
that's good.
question
Yeah.
myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
That, again, maybe you've done another take. That line came off really melodramatic. And a lot of people have remarked that line specifically came off kind of bad acting, kind of melodramatic. But to be fair, I mean, Hayden Christensen's whole performance as Anakin can be argued as overtly melodramatic. And a lot of people thought his performance was bad at the time. And now he's looked on fondly as this sort of great experience for Star Wars. he's loved by fans and that a character is adored by fans, even though at that time, a lot of people called him whiny and over the top. So yeah, it was a bit melodramatic, but is it really going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things of this movie? Probably not. And again, there's this whole dynamic. People are like, oh, she's talking down to him. One, again, she's in journalist mode. Two, we don't really know the dynamics of the relationship between Lois and Clark at this point. We know they've been dating for a while. They made that apparent in the promotion of this movie, that they already have a relationship. And anybody who's been in a relationship can tell you, there are definitely those times where your girl will come to you and she'll check you. She'll make you reconsider some of the actions you've taken, especially if they've been brass and you may have not actually, thought about those actions before you took them and the consequences. Trust me, your girlfriends love to do that stuff. People are talking about this a lot, and him being helped by the normal person and normal people having an impact on him like this. And they've been like, oh, well, this is charming, it's one of those endearing to the people, all that. And quite honestly, I'm over this. I know this is a controversial opinion to have, but it's the Spider-Man 2 thing. When they all, carry him back and they all put their hands on his chest and etc. I'm over it. It's been done. We get it. You relate to the common people.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Did you all know that James Gunn directed this movie?
Your choices. Your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
So, couple things. Flashback sequences. Obviously, Pa Kent doesn't die in this version of Superman, which is kind of really important because the whole idea of Clark Kent's father dying from a heart attack was something that taught an important lesson to him, which is that even though he is Superman and he has all these powers, right? Strength, speed, he can fly. He can shoot friggin' laser beams out of his eyes. X-ray vision, freezing breath, all of it. Despite all those powers, there are still some things he can't control. It's one of the big criticisms of Man of Steel, right? Is that Kevin Costner's Pa Kent in that movie lets himself be dragged off by the tornado when Superman could have easily saved him. That was a death that was avoidable. A heart attack is something that's not really avoidable. It's instant and it's unexpected. It's not like a tornado that you can see coming off and a force of nature that Superman can actually act against. Also, going back to a previous scene where they focus on Krypto a little bit in the Fortress of Solitude, which looked good, by the way. I think Krypto is gonna hang over this movie like something bad that we don't want to talk about. A big nothing burger that doesn't really need to be in this movie and doesn't serve a whole lot of purpose, other than the fact that James Gunn wanted a dog in this movie.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it.
So Metamorpho is sitting there in the room where Superman's being held. He has kryptonite growing off of him to weaken Superman and hold him there, as we can assume. And eventually, Lex Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude, as we can see, destroys all of Superman's robots, which is where you can see him in that one still crying over the loss of his robot friends, I guess.
Somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
Coom face, by the way. So it looks like one of the big plot points in this movie is Lex Luthor is angry that Superman is controlling the narrative, that he's getting more attention than him. If that's the direction they're going with this, and the whole super shit thing is a real thing. The monkeys using memes to control social media message and all that. All because people want to talk about Superman more than Lex Luthor and his team of heroes that he's assembled. And this whole mentality that he thinks Superman is an it. He doesn't really see the superheroes as like people. They're just forces of power to be controlled. I'm not really sure how good that's going to play out. Tapping into egotism and social media and messaging and all that, especially with billionaires and characters that are supposed to potentially represent certain billionaires that may or may not own social media companies, is muddy waters to traverse this day and age.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
I actually like that. Cool.
You have a dog?
Again, the dog's gonna hang over this movie, man. Like, it just should not be there. I'm convinced at this point it should not be there. The rest of the trailer looked pretty cool. No real faults there. It was kind of just action clips, to be honest. We got to see Lois Lane and Superman kiss, which we haven't seen really a whole lot of. There's a lot of just generic hugging in this movie between the two of them, which I thought was weird. You know, like, it's okay to show affection that goes into, you know, like kissing. You don't have to spam me with it, but, you know, maybe put it in the trailer at least. And we haven't really got that so far, but it looks like we got it now. So yeah, general view of that trailer is fairly positive. It's actually made me more hopeful about the movie and its direction than the previous trailers, which look pretty bad in compared to this. I will say also, this is from DC's own channel, almost 5 million subscribers, 239,000 upvotes to 6.1 downvotes. That's a pretty good ratio. I also don't get the general negativity that I've seen about this movie that's without reason. I mean, this poster dropped the other day, and it's just David Cornsweet as Superman, and everybody was coming out saying, oh, this looks like the CW kind of stuff. This looks terrible. And I don't really get it. It looks fine. If I had to pick one thing to really criticize, it's that it's kind of underwhelming. It's like, hey, here's a picture of David Cornsweet in the Superman costume with a flare lens on. Like, that's it. But like CW and like this looks awful, etc., etc. I don't really see that. And there's a lot of general hate and negativity about it. Same thing I've seen from the comments about this trailer. A lot of people just dogging on it because it's mainstream stuff, so it's easy to dog on. And don't get me wrong, there's shills out there too who are like, oh my god, this is so great. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And those guys are absolute idiots too. But the general feeling from this poster and from the trailer is, alright, it looks good. Doesn't blow my socks off, but okay, I'll take a look. The problem there is, if the movie is also like that, I don't think this thing is going to get to the revenue it needs to generate to justify an entire universe of projects. But we'll have to wait till it comes out to see if that rings true. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go and leave in the comments. If you like this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.